release. So I will. It's kind of a surprise, although we kind of spoiled it through our audio difficulties. But we're going to introduce the crew of today's show, and I think we'll get some excitement behind this. So the first person we have on today's show, you might remember him from such Gwent shows as Please Lower the Volume, is Ruben.
What's up, guys? Happy to be here again, Gwent After Dark. Always happy to communicate with people in Discord. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully this one is as good as the last one, and I think I'm sure with all those guests we have coming up.
Now this one, these guys are really, they have a great podcast on Saturdays or Sundays. We get to hammer down a day, but they're awesome. We have the Clear Skies talk show crew with Little League and Cass.
What up? What up, guys? Glad to be here. Cheers for the invite, Shifu. I'm sure we'll have plenty of good discussions and laughs, and plenty of breaking balls.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for. All right. So, and then thirdly, we have the smooth, sultry sounds of Commander's Horn podcast with Commander Horn himself, Mr. McBeard CH.
Good afternoon/evening, everybody.
God, that's just. I'm sorry, dude. This is, it's Gwent After Dark, but your voice just permeates sex. Take that as how it's meant to be said. All right, and now, last and certainly not least, I had to give him the fanfare he deserves. If you're watching the famous Gwent After Dark curtain call, is the one, the only, no pressure behind this. Everybody else now feels like, where the hell was my introduction? But I'm giving a scroll here. And special guest star, King Black Tooth.
How's it going? Yay! How's it going, everyone? King Black Tooth here. How you doing?
See, like I told you, we pull out no expense for this show. The cost of the show, we barely reached under our budget, getting all these stars under one place, under one roof. We have an exciting show. I'm Shifu the Cards. I've cut myself real short because they're all these stars. So, without further ado, pull back the curtain and let's get it started. Awkward pulling back of the curtain moment. Let's put it now. Let's keep King Black Tooth's name up there just to keep star power going.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Gwent Discord server. Unfortunately for all of you, all the pretty people that are on here, you gotta look at my ugly mug. We're not that good. We just have audio for everybody else. Sorry, ladies. But you do have the dulcet tones of Commander's Horn that will be ringing in your ear for your listening pleasure. So we have a couple of cool shows. So we're Gwent After Dark. If you want to be in the audience, please do so. In the audience on the Gwent Discord server. If you're not a part of the Gwent Discord server, you should be. So we're going to look at the... Ruben, why don't you take us through what's on the show for today?
Yeah, sure. So first up, we actually have the meta snapshot, what we think will be great in the closed beta. What's actually around the corner? So much hype for that. So after a long journey, we can finally theorycraft with actually a few days left of not actually testing out the decks in a full or on a decent scale, at least, not tabletop simulator. As a second thing, we're gonna talk about a little bit about a road to Gwent. We made a nice timeline where we have every big event that has something to do with Gwent, and we'll go over that and actually the big things that happened during the time of Gwent and how it became to what it is right now. And then we're gonna go over everyone's favorite things, what they're looking forward to of the closed beta, and then a few of favorite things, kind of the same, but it's kind of a secret, it's kind of a small fun part of the podcast, just to take a little breath, and then a kind of a turnaround, and then some of the things that we think won't be that great or will be kind of a drawback and things they have to work on maybe a little bit. Still, it's not open beta, but that's what we're going to talk about in today's show. So pretty excited for that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So we put this show together in the last second. So we have a lot of superstars on here wondering where they can talk, what they're going to say. So
No idea.
Yeah, it's like, what do we do? So that's my fault. So, I know y'all all probably coming for different people, and that sounded awkward. But we're just going to try to take this as we can. So if my guest stars or co-stars or more stars than I, if y'all have anything to say, please feel free to chime in. Ruben and I don't run a tight ship. We have people walking behind us. Shit just goes crazy.
I'm just scared of hogging the mic up. I'm scared of talking too much and hogging the mic up and everybody else.
Oh, don't worry. We'll interrupt you. We'll come to your house and try to stop you from everything you're saying. But no, just anything you want to say, just go ahead. Don't be afraid. We have time. The people have time. They always want to listen to some of the pros of the scene, some of the guys that know a lot. Actually, everyone kind of knows a lot in the Discord server, but we're here to talk about stuff like that. So why don't we start off with the first topic, the meta snapshot, what we think will be incredibly powerful. The theory crafting actually. What is the first deck you'll try? For example, whoever wants to take word, because we have a lot of people in here.
I can go first if you want to get out of the way. So what I'm worried about is weather decks maybe being too strong, maybe ending up in a control meta where it's all control and too slow. So I'll get my worries out of the way quick. But yeah, what I think is going to be dominant is weather decks, because I think there's just too much utility for them. You have monsters who can drop big units and play the weather, and also have units who are immune. And then you've got my favourite deck, which is a Skellige deck, where every single unit is immune. And I'm playing 4 to 6 weather cards. So I'm worried how weather's going to be, and that's what I think is going to be dominant in the meta. I think weather. So if you've got a deck out there and you can get weather in it, put it in it.
So you think weather will take the absolute crown of everything in the meta that actually? So there's no kind of counter to this, maybe to these decks.
Well, you've got like Clear Skies as a card. It's a tech card that you don't really want to put in your deck, but you have to. So that there straight away tells you that weather's strong. Like, you're going to be putting cards in your deck you don't want to. Like, you don't really want to put ×3 copies of Clear Skies in your deck, but you're probably going to have to. So it's that sort of meta defining. It's going to force people to play cards they don't want to play.
I think that's probably true in the closed beta, but I think after we get out of the closed beta, we'll see more Arch Griffins that emerge.
Yeah, they definitely need to bring more deck cards in like that, or I feel weather will just be too dominant.
I think that's a fair thing to say too, because I know that just from the discussion that we've had with Rethis or chat, that they've been looking at weather, so they probably wouldn't be looking at it if they didn't have some concern over the power level of weather.
Good point. I heard him say that also.
So, what do you think, Cass? Where are you weighing in on the weather discussion for the first meta?
Well, I'm not sure about the weather if they're going to be too strong or not, because let's say Northern Realm, they have like Golden Deck's promotion deck. It for me it looks like a counter deck to weather, and Northern Realm is really like, it looks like a friendly a newbies deck for new players. So I would say a lot of people will go with Northern Realm, and somehow they will counter, like they don't even know they're countering weather deck, but they will do it because that's the easiest deck to play for me. So
I'd agree that it is the counter.
Do you think there will be a dominant deck played or faction played by the community? Do you think like people that begin will be afraid of Skellige because it seems too hard, or it just seems like not that good, or just too complicated for something to pull off, or too much combo or this? And while Northern Realms actually seems simple and logical, and just some cool combos that you can pull off that you actually think about when you play a card game like Gwent.
I agree with Ruben there that I also think Northern Realms will be the most used deck and most, not going to say noob friendly, but new player friendly, let's say. there is a little timing involved in when to put down your gold promotion, when to use Hinsel. But once you lock that down, I feel Northern Realms and Munster will be the user-friendly deck that we see the most.
Well, in the closed beta, we're obviously going to see not everybody's going to have every card, so it's going to be a very beginner assortment of cards, and I think Monsters and Northern Realms are probably the easiest ones and the most effective ones for beginners. With the probably, Weathers will work really well for Monster beginner cards, and Northern Realms promotion will work really well for beginner players as well. I think Squirtle and the other one, Skellige, are going to be the harder factions to win with just the basic cards. That's a good point. Go ahead. Good.
Well, I was just going to say that I agree. I think that Monsters might be the more straightforward, new player friendly, maybe new player attracting decks, just because it's pretty clear that it's about weather and being immune to weather, and the gold cards create weather, and it's all right there in the description, so it's very easy to understand. However, I think if we're talking like power level and meta, I think Northern Realms may be dominant, just because, and this isn't about Priscilla. It's about some of the other stuff that they can put in the shell of their deck that you can put in any Northern deck. Specifically, I think Bloody Baron, Shanny, the field medics are very good as well. That's a really strong kind of backbone.
Which deck actually? Which is a good point. Which deck, when you first boot up the game and get maybe 2 packs or something, I don't know, and you play your first game, which fraction would be the strongest without like crazy cards, legendaries, all those things?
I think what Blacktush said, Monsters and Northern Realms, because I think as the card board, you need a lot more cards for Scoia'tael to be good, where I think you need less cards for Monster to be good. So I think Scoia'tael will be the best when you have all the cards. It will be the strongest. It will be the high level play deck that you see amongst the top legend players. And I believe at the start it will be decks like Monster and Northern Realms, because they just play solid units. Just play good units.
I want to say something real quick. I've had first of all, this is going great, and so the Gwent After Dark audience is doing really well. Y'all are really kind of going in with this, and I appreciate that. Everybody's kind of hand in hand with this weather debate. I will say this: I've had a chance to my son, Death the Loving, and he and I have played many decks, Northern Realms, as a matter of fact, versus Monster Weather. And I will say this might be a shocker. As good, I run a promotion deck against it, and to see how it would work over the last 10 times we played or so, so Hensel is not as good as you might think. Actually, Full Test is better, because what you find yourself when you're playing one of those decks is, yeah, you can promote all your groups to heroes, but the weather comes so fast that they get nerfed before you have a chance to even promote them. Whereas if you could find another card, like another Blue Stripes Commando or another another card on the board, a copy, a Reaver Scout or something, it gives you a chance for a little more offense that you find yourself really craving against that Monster Weather.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that you found that out.
I think with Hensel, it's about there's a real kind of greediness decision making. Where do you find your maximum value to be when it comes to promoting a row? Because if you find that your units are getting destroyed before you do what you want to do, then maybe that's just not, like, that's always going to be the greedy play, and maybe promoting like two units might be like the best you can do, but that might be good enough.
What if you use Hensel just to promote units that you don't want to revive with your reviving ability, with your medics? So if you actually filter out the things you want from your graveyard as a Northern Realms player, so that you can actually really accurately pull out things out of your graveyard, do you think that's maybe a viable strategy?
An interesting
one. I like the sound of it.
But I think it's hard to pull that one out, because like most of the Northern Realm units are on either melee or range, like all the other. So you will almost never like promote your Hensel, your siege row. So it's really hard to pull that out, because you will hit everyone when you do it.
yeah, maybe we just need a little more cards or refinement from closed beta. If we see something like that missing or something, like some sort of synergy that can be added, I think the devs will probably add it, because the more advanced tactics or something they can put in Gwent, I think they're happy to add something like that, because they really want to make the game more strategic than actually casual. And I think that's a good thing, because we're going to bring up Hearthstone a lot in these talks, probably because it's the main card game that has a lot of customers. And but I think Hearthstone goes more in the casual direction, and I think Gwent goes more in the opposite direction. And I think that's a good thing, because I think most people are kind of sick of the randomness and more the casual thing. They want the Magic the Gathering feel again, the hardcore feel of card games, I think.
I like that. I've never had the Magic the Gathering feel. I never got to play it, so if Gwent can be the next Magic, we're in good hands.
Although I just want to say that Northern Realm Siege, I think, is actually quite good. I think Northern Realm, now that you can build it.
I'd like to mention, if possible, that we seem to have lost type bonds, which would be amazing, I think, for Henselt. If you could do something, type on some type, promote some type bond units, and then the other ones are guaranteed easily to go up really, really quickly.
And yeah, that's actually true. What do you guys think of losing tight bonds? Because that's a big deal. That was in the original Gwent even, way back, and now sadly it's gone. So what do you guys actually think of that? Do you find it sad, or are you rather glad that it's gone?
Before we get into the tight bonds discussion, which is a good one, that's a great for. Let's hit the audience. A couple comments I thought were really good. See, this is, of course, I'd go to Shadjif. Sorry, blowing your name. I apologize. Gels also reveals that you're committing to a certain row. Mahakman, a great inputter. I think Henselt only makes sense in Siege Tower, poor infantry kind of decks. Vest, obviously. So a couple good comments. Mule, you promote a lot of things and you depromote them, and you can medic them out later, so you gain a lot of strength on them. And oh god, Shadjef. Francesca can be good, but at the same time she is a turn waste if you already have a good hand and draws. And then Meerkats, we're having great discussion on the audience. He's too situational most of the times, especially with bronze units available. And then Little League is very loud, so I'll address that right now.
With the tight bond, though, I think that's very telling that it's gone, because it seemed, in Gwent Witcher 3, where you're a single player and you feel very powerful, it really did feel like pretty crazy when you could get 3, maybe 4 in some situations. Tight bond cards out, and it was just, getting units that high, especially with promote in the game now, it seems dangerous.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I said it in the last Gwent After Dark, it seems like there's been a giant nerf in power. The numbers don't go in the hundreds anymore. Well, they could go in there, but usually they don't anymore. And I think that's thanks to actually tight bonds and stuff like that has been nerfed. And it's kind of a logical decision that's gone right now. It's evolution.
I'm not familiar with the concept, but Ruben quickly briefed me on it. If that existed, then my views in Northern Realms would be totally different, because that's very powerful. But I wish Shifu, I don't know how much info he took down doing his decks, but Henselt to me seems on average to get value out of about 3 units, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, roughly about 3 units. I tried, my original goal with Henselt was to use him as a poor infantry. I almost had the other one, to kind of get a bunch of creatures on the board and then use him or try to buff him. But what I find against weather monster decks, as soon as the poor infantry hit the board, in comes the snow. A little sound effect for everybody.
I don't know that card, sorry.
Got called his real name. We are Gwent After Dark.
That's right. Yeah, poor fucking. Yeah, what am I doing? Poor fucking infantry. Fuck it. So at the poor fucking infantry, then I don't know what I was thinking. What would happen as soon as they hit the board, they would just be weathered down. Immediately.
That's the thing, and if you're running a weather deck, you're running 5 to 6 copies of cards, and then you're running cards that bring in weathers for free. So I can run in my monster deck 5-6 weather cards, and then I've got Caranthir and I've got Lishan who give me another weather card for free. So you cannot remove the weather I'm putting down. That's what worries me about weather.
Looks like we've come full circle on that point.
So, all right. So, King Blacktooth, what do you think would be another meta deck? Is there one out there that you're identifying as a possible meta besides weather?
Well, obviously, wounding seems to be very prevalent at the moment. I'm seeing a fair share, to be honest, of defending against wounding and main wounding decks. So, I think there's a nice even mix between on the wounding side. But I think it just changed the whole meta a lot. Like Camby, I feel has just gotten weaker because of all the wounding that's coming in. That he can easily get rid of Camby now.
Disconnected from your channel.
Someone is gone.
Cass.
Well, we'll just continue and maybe he comes back. Who knows? So,
Okay.
to continue on that topic.
I would agree with Blacktooth also that Winden is another great strat, and it's another strategy I see being used a lot. Again, Scoia'tael comes to mind because I run a lot of Winden, but it's reactive Winden, so it's me dealing with your threats. So you're putting down a threat, I'm pinging it off, I'm using commando to do a second ping. It's reactive Winden, and then you have the Winden that Shifu likes, which is I've been looking into Young Berserker and add him in my weather deck because he's absolutely awesome. So I play weather effect in your row. He drops down to 1 and then turns into a bear who's immune. Like that's insane. That's an insane turn.
I really want to comment on just an overall extra thing you have to consider when building a deck. When I was building that Cambo deck, I had Clan Dumont Pirate Captains in, which are 1 strength. Now, normally, that would be a great card to stick in before Kill the Server, but for now, you have to really consider 1 strength means he's just going to get pinged off the board immediately, and the same with Sarah, you really want to just wound her immediately, so building a deck where you can get rid of small little things which are relatively really powerful, really quickly is very important, I think. So that's probably an extra meta, making sure you get rid of the small annoying cards really quickly with just a couple of pings.
Yeah, that brings me back to talking about, I don't know if it was Longboat Warship, and I remember I was talking about I didn't really like random damage, and that card you mentioned, he's going to be, unfortunately, the receiver of that random damage many times, I would say.
Do you guys really think playing wound decks would be fun? Because it seems, to me, it seems kind of boring. I mean, it doesn't feel really Gwent-like to me. I mean, I'll test it in the closed beta for sure, but I don't think I will be playing those kind of decks. I think I'll be playing combo decks and just the fun and the decks that actually really hit. I mean, can really be powerful and smashing, but not in the way of wounding, because I don't like the idea of wounding actually. Just in general.
There's something for everybody, and it does feel good. If you've got a unit that wounds for 3 damage, they put down Sarah, that's going to potentially go up to 15 with a Ragnarok or something. You just take it straight off the board immediately. That feels good. I think wounding is for different style of people, and they can get some enjoyment out of it, I think.
Commander's Horn, what are you thinking?
What do I think is going to be meta that we haven't talked about yet? I think.
Oh no, I mean, well, yes, but I was talking about. What do you think about wounding?
Wounding. I think that wounding is going to be pretty strong, but I think it's going to be about the larger amounts. Like when you think about Scoia'tael and they have their archers that hit for 5 damage. I think that those are probably going to be very swingy cards that are going to probably determine like the opening kind of round flow when people try to place their setup cards to, like we talked about Clan Dibin Pirate Captain. He's a real setup card. You put him down and very clear that he needs to go. So, but I think that the decks that can run the higher damaging units, even though they're lower strength, there is a trade-off there, but I think that removal may be they have a higher value than the setup cards themselves. But I think a lot of this stuff is very speculative. I think that we're going to really have to experience a number of games before it becomes clear what's beating us or what we're using.
That's a really great point. And just another thing, and talk about deck testing. So I run a lot of wound decks because I'm a control player. I know Little League is the same. Horrible name.
Here we go.
I was going to do it, of course. But I use a lot of wounding decks because I'm a control player. So what I found is my son, that's who I deck test against mostly, he ran that Monster Weather like we talked about. Well, what he did to counter a wound deck, and there's also King Blacktooth uses this card, we'll talk about it later, but he ran a lot of big monsters, 7, 8s, the drowners, the big beefy monsters, and it's hard to wound them down. And then, there's a card that King Blacktooth's going to tell you later, which is really effective against wounding decks. I'm not going to take his thunder. But I want to go back to the crowd audience so we get some people in. That's why I love this show, because we really kind of put some people some shine and butcher their names. But I saw some good ones. Kind of going off what King Blacktooth said, a lot of people support it. Teller of Tales, a new member to the Gwent Discord server. While we're on the topic, Ice Giant seems super nice. Does he keep his bonus even after Frost is removed, or is that unknown? So a really good question. Mahogman answering. I am not going to pronounce his name again. There's some background noise when King Blacktooth talks. I don't know if anybody else heard that. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to work on it as he's talking, trying to fix it, but there's something going on. And then Mahakman answers his own question, showing the leadership ability from the Gwent Discord server, that the Ice Giant would lose his buff because Causing Clear Weather resets all original values to original, and he apologizes. That's weird that I'm reading that like that. So, there we go. So that's going on in the Gwent Discord server. Sorry to interrupt. So what I'm trying to do here is moderate, and I know Ruben is too. I want to give everybody else a shine to talk, because that's why I brought them all here, because they're awesome. Cass dropped out. So Cass, we were talking about wounding. What do you think about the wounding decks?
Actually, I have not really looking into the wounding deck, but I think it's one of the deck that people need to practice a little bit more, because it's sometimes you feel like you're going to undervalue your wound because you might wounding someone with 5 strength, but he only have 2 strength. So it's you have to, I think you have to practice or have some wounding card that can wound for 3, 4, and 5 to get 100% of value. But I think it's a strong deck if you know how to build it against your opponent.
Okay, so we've kind of got through. I don't know, Ruben, did you have a different? I wanted to go around the horn. So to recap, Clear Skies has offered up Monster Weather, or just Weather in general, as the possible meta. King Blacktooth offered up Wounding. Ruben, did you have a different one? And I'm going to go to Commander's Horn next, see if he has a different, maybe, idea meta deck.
Priscilla. That's my only comment.
Priscilla meta.
Everyone loves Priscilla.
I think Northern Realms in general will conquer the world, and nobody will be able to beat them. Just because everyone's going to be net decking my pro decks, man. Just can't help it. No, but on a more serious note, I have no idea actually. I'm really looking forward to actually making the meta, because this is what we're doing here. I never had a chance to do this in Hearthstone. This is making the meta. I mean, how cool does that sound? Usually people go to the Hearthstone and they net deck every single deck, and the meta is already made. But there's nothing fun about that. The most fun time is just when an expansion hits and everyone tries new stuff. Everyone tries this and that, these combos, and that's what we will be able to do with a full new game. And that's Gwent, and it's a game that we already love, and I think that's the amazing part, but I have no idea which deck will conquer the meta. I really have no idea.
What I also love about Gwent and the deck building side of things is you don't have to work to a mana curve, which is going to help so many people, because sometimes you've got a good idea, you know what your deck wants to do, but you end up with this clunky mana curve and your deck can't function, whereas in Gwent you don't have that problem. There's no mana curve, so I think it's very new player friendly on the deck building side of things, because you just need your idea and your win condition.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Before I go to the sultry voice of Commander's Horn, so ladies, get ready to perk up. I just want to read this comment. I think it's an exceptional comment from Gum Gum Face Punch. I love that name. I think wounding decks needs good deck building and practice. They often lack good start turn cards and can have some awkward turns. That's why I think cards like Johnny are very good in wounding decks. That's a great comment. And also Ocvis. That's why I love Ocvis, putting him out turn 1. Big Ocvis fan. And then Mahakman, I think the problem with wounding is, first of all, it usually provides less value than pure STR. Second of all, it gets beat by value cards like Blue Striped Scouts, Medics, Vrihid Vanguard, Wild Hunt Riders, etc. And I think blanketing wounding, and then Jimmy Josh, I think blanketing wounding into one archetype is a bit silly. Interesting. Super Botchling meta from Baba Yaga. Then talking about more wounding, Mythic Pilot. Wounding decks have a good thing going for them. They can counter graveyard abuse by not killing wounded units, which is huge against some Northern Realms and Skellige decks. And then Mahakman, so you really have to plan with wounding, which one wounding to do specifically, and how it synergizes with the rest of your deck and your game plan. So I think pretty good comments on wounding. So now we go to the sultry Commander's Horn and his meta prediction.
Hi everybody. So I don't know if this isn't really a meta prediction. Oh, just real quick about just the wounding. I think that reactionary cards in general, you would want to just have some. You wouldn't want to have a whole. Generally, like we're talking about placing stuff down or having a slow early game because your cards are all dedicated to controlling. I think that you probably would want to have a. But as far as meta is concerned, I don't know if this is going to be meta, but I think it is worth mentioning because it's going to be at the onset of this game and everybody's going to be experimenting and learning new things. So I think that from the Scoia'tael side, playing traps, I think, is going to be strong early. Specifically in an early game meta where people are still understanding all the possible options, what ends up being the stronger traps. You start to expect certain traps, but when it all starts, I think that the average player wouldn't be expecting anything. They wouldn't really know what it could be. It's possible that they aren't, deep in Gwent DB and theory crafting like we are all day long. They are just seeing a face-down card for the first time, and maybe that's how they have to learn. They can't plan or expect anything. But I think that just because it's going to force suboptimal plays, it's going to catch people off guard. So I think the traps may end up being quite strong in the early goings, but it remains to be seen if that would be the archetype that you'd play beyond that.
I would take this. I'm sorry. I would take the opportunity real quick, Little League. I'll go to you. I would take the opportunity to thank all the gentlemen, the Gwentlemen, on this stream. I know it's very difficult. A lot of us love to talk, so it's very hard to sit there and wait for our turn patiently. I would thank y'all so much for your patience. Thank y'all for watching. And then, Little League, we'll let you close us off till we go to the next topic.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly cover what McBeard said about traps, and I feel they're going to be very powerful also. I have created a trapper deck, a fully fledged trapper deck using every trapper card available. And at first, Borvil's going to win a lot of games. People are going to, see you throw down this face down card and pass turn, and the guy's going to think, this guy's a noob, he doesn't know how to play. He's going to pass turn, and then Turvil's going to pop up and win you games. And then when that starts to happen, then Kieran comes into the picture, because what you start to do is you start to throw down Kieran, and they play round Turvil and say expend 2-3 cards, and then Kieran pops up, and you lose the round purposely. He pops back in your hand, and they've just wasted 2 or 3 cards, and then on top of that, you make them go first with Scoia'tael. So I think trap cards are going to be like X.
Just like Mahakaman said in the Discord, the trap cards I feel are a very quick evolving meta. Toraville week 1, Kieran or whatever his name is week 2, then both of them week 3, so traps are very quickly evolving meta, I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the problem with traps, I'm going to save that actually for what we think will be the problems in the game. So while saying that, let's head over to the next topic, which is one of my favorite actually, Road to Gwent. And there's a nice
screenshot slideshow here. It
shows you kind of everything, with a small picture of every kind of event. And I think the person that was the longest or the most integrated integrated with this process was King Blacktooth. He's had a YouTube channel about Gwent almost for this whole process of Gwent. So why don't you actually be the kind of host of this topic, King Blacktooth, if you want, of course.
No, that's fine. I started, before real Gwent, or this Gwent, because I did real Gwent before that. So I was making videos about playing Witcher 3 Gwent with my friend, which was competitive. So that's where it started for me, even before, started just around the Witcher 3 area, before the official physical decks. But someone else lead, because I'm not very good at that.
Okay, no problem. I'll do it then. So, kind of the first thing that we had was, of course, Witcher 3 in the Gwent as a mini game, as a kind of a small thing. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. You would actually adventure in this world, not playing the quests, but actually going to every inn and just buying all the cards, challenging every blacksmith, and just going around in this world, collecting every single card. And that was just amazing about The Witcher 3. But that was something entirely else, and we wanted more. We actually wanted more, and one thing that we wanted was physical Gwent, and that's actually the next chapter in Gwent. That was the physical decks, but people actually printed them out, and on Reddit there were posts that people made kind of pictures or print formats to print off Gwent. So actually, question: did anyone, except for King Blacktooth that we all know, did any of you guys print out a physical copy of Gwent?
I didn't. I did not.
I didn't either. To be honest, I can shamefully admit, I didn't even play Gwent and Witcher 3 until I seen kill the servers. and then I went back into Witcher and completed the high stakes quest, and that's my Gwent experience.
Well, it's always nice to have a kind of a viewpoint from someone else that hasn't been here from like whenever Gwent was announced or something. So personally, I actually printed a whole copy of the physical Gwent and played it with a lot of friends. It was a lot of fun. Actually, who inspired me to do that was King Blacktooth when I discovered his videos, and I saw him do his games with real Gwent. I actually made the deck, and it was a lot of fun, but it kind of was missing something, and there wasn't. I mean, it was like playing a spy, copying the spy, playing the spy, and it was that until you had no spies or no decoys anymore. And if you didn't have any spies or any decoys, you just lost. So they upgraded Gwent. They decided people want more. People just want more and more Gwent, and if we want to give Gwent to the people, we'll have to change it, they said. So that's when Gwent was announced. And so I think most of you guys were around when Gwent was actually announced and saw the message. What were you thinking when you actually saw that?
I watched the actual stream, but I think I was only there by accident. I think I was just there by accident. And then I got really excited and started my career straight away, immediately, really.
Yeah, I did some videos on Witcher 3 Gwent. When it was announced, I got really excited and started to find the Gwent database, which has been my home away from home, and made decks just constantly. So when the Gwent announcement came, I was super jazzed. I was always thinking, like, man, hope this game that I love so much in Witcher 3 becomes an actual standalone game. They announced it, super excited, and then just started to start streaming.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick kudos to CD Projekt Red for listening to the fan base and bringing such an amazing game to the masses. And hopefully we bring in not only the Witcher crowd, but the CCG crowd, and hopefully we get a great game.
Yeah, hopefully Gwent can actually set its mark on the card games scenario like Hearthstone did. Hopefully can maybe trump it, but we'll see about how it does. And I think it's definitely a totally different feel, and I think a lot of people are actually looking for that kind of feel. So that's when the first time we actually got to play the game was in Gamescom, or maybe a little bit before that, but the actual good gameplay and raw good footage was when in Gamescom, where I was actually, and I got to play the game about 8 times. at a booth where you had to wait only 10 minutes, which was amazing. And I played against some German people, I played against some developers, and I played against some friends there. And it was amazing. I loved it. I fell in love, and actually
User disconnected
went
from your channel.
into this Discord and just did full on research on the game. Just got completely into it. Got in love, fell in love with it, and yeah, everything from the gameplay that we saw just felt right. Don't know what you guys think when you saw.
I really liked it. I think the first thing I saw was it was an article I saw on Kotaku, and it was showing a picture of the giant the banners that they hung from it was like an apartment building or an office building outside of the con they announced it at, and it was just such a big statement. And I thought, is this real? Is this a real thing? Is it actually happening? And I remember just digging into all the information when I first saw the trailer. Very exciting.
So was there anything you guys didn't expect or expected or didn't see, what you saw coming from the UI wise or graphics wise or just features that you didn't see coming or instead saw coming?
What I like about New Gwent is that it's much different than old Gwent in the sense of you don't have, the only time I've seen old Gwent, I've watched physical Gwent, and you don't have the 20 minutes of spy, decoy, spy, decoy, spy, decoy. For a viewer like myself, I was thinking, well, why not just get rid of all that and just start the card game and have more natural draw and bring in more of a CCG based draw, and so I'm glad they've done that.
I was actually, it's kind of an interesting topic. I like the time. Ruben did an amazing job with this timeline. I kind of referred to Witcher 3 Gwent as a Silver Age of Gwent because most of the cards that we used or abused in Witcher 3 Gwent are now silver cards. And Gamescom Gwent was interesting for me because it took it from what I'd always known and loved and the very, very resource management heavy old Gwent or Silver Age Gwent, and now had this new Middle Ages Gwent where it was very interesting and awesome. And it was so cool to see the UI and everything, and it exploded on the screen instead of just being very basic.
User disconnected from your channel.
And it's constantly evolving. I think this to me, the Gamescom era, so the Middle Ages, is where all of a sudden it exploded, and we saw this. Oh my God, it changed. And then it changed again, and it's constantly evolving. I think this was the first stage of the evolution, the Gamescom.
I think one thing that really surprised me, I think it was around Gamescom, was premium cards.
How many viewers we
The
have?
first time I saw them, and they were just amazing.
Oh yeah, they were actually great. I mean, they showed a few, I think, on Gamescom, and I played a few, and fell in love with them. It's like the legendary cards, or golden cards rather, but better. I mean, they're
Do you see
better, yeah.
anybody named Rethaz? R-E-T-H-A-Z on there?
models as well.
Yeah.
Hands down the best premium art in a CCG yet.
Yeah, you actually want to go look at him instead of just he has that. I mean, you want to hover over it and
I just want to
actually
see. Just look for
watch
Rethaz.
the card.
Yeah, I think it's the first CCG where I won't be recycling my premium cards. Like usually when I see a gold, I'm like, oh yeah, great, 100 dust, right? Craft a card. I think in Gwent, when I get the premium cards, I'll be keeping them.
Yeah, exactly. Because also I want to collect them all the premiums, because I'm a real grinder, and also just because they look beautiful. But that's a really good point actually. If you have a premium feature and people are actually or don't even like the premium feature, then you're doing something wrong. But Gwent here did that right. So then between Kill the Service and Gamescom, there was a long period where we had lots of events. PAX West was one of them. We had a panel with new information. We had all sorts of Russian and smaller events, and they showed new gameplay footage, more cards. They changed a lot. They did that. This was a time where I couldn't even keep up with all the changes and stuff. It was just crazy here. I was just playing Gwent on Tabletop Simulator with Mahakaman and making some decks.
Real quick, we have a question for everybody from Mirrorcats, a very prominent member of the Gwent Discord server. Question for the guests: what do you want your first premium to be? And we'll start with Little League and then work our way through King Blacktooth, Commander's Horn, and then us.
Wow, right, just to look at...
The fight is in the league.
But it's just there's that many I want to choose. It's like whoa. It's like, but Ragnarok is my favorite looking premium card. I think it'll look awesome when it's all moving. Obviously, it's a bit boring to play.
I know.
So to play, probably Jackdaws.
Really? You think the card is boring to play? I think it changes
No,
the whole
not
game.
boring to
Please,
play.
hurry.
Premium. Did he not say premium card?
Yeah, but you said it's gonna look amazing, but when you play,
No. Sorry. Ragnarok looks amazing, but boring to play because it's not physically on the board. You don't see animation on the board.
That's a hard choice for me. I think just because I love these cards, it's a mix up between either Neneki, Neneke, or Odrin for me. Just because I like those people.
Odin's going to be a great one.
Yeah, he's having way too much.
Winging that beer around.
just smashing his cake.
I think any artwork that has somebody like raising their sword or punching somebody, because we saw Zoltan's right in Kill the Servers, and he's just busting into the room. So there's two cards. There's Madman Lugos, who I think is probably going to be, he looks like insane in the card, so he's probably just going to be rearing up and, I don't know, destroying that bear, I guess. But also the Skellige Spy, Donna and Hindar, who is just straight up punching the dude in the face. It looks like they had the premium card and they just took a shot out of the video that it would be in, because the guy's blurry already, the guy who's getting hit. So I think that's probably going to be a really satisfying premium to look at. Just whack, just nails the dude in the face.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's too many to choose actually. I like the look. I think Operator will look well as well.
Borderline's cool.
Whose turn is it now?
It's yours, man. Well, if you just for over there, I don't know if y'all can see the whatever secret how we're talking, but maybe we can use that as a list of in order.
All right, yeah, sounds fine by me. Actually, the one I'm most curious about what they'll do. It's not my favorite, but Guy's Winning Cow. I'm really curious what they'll do with that one because it doesn't seem to move, and I'll just wonder if it's like a sunshine or something moving in the background. But I think they're gonna do something great with it. And my favorite actually is Clan Tordarok's Shieldsmith because it has like the sparks already when he's slashing his shield, and I think it's the same. It's like already a picture from the premium, it seems, and I think they'll do an amazing job with his particle effects there. And I think it's gonna look amazing, that card. Not the greatest card I know.
But for me, it's an easy choice. Savage Bear. I might have heard me talk about that card before. I should see how to do the bear effects. I think it'll really well. Bear as in mammal effects, not naked effects. See how they do that. It should be pretty interesting.
I think another interesting one has got to be the field book. Everyone wants to see how they're going to handle the teen rating on the field book.
Dude, just screaming.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point.
All right.
Yeah, many nice cards.
All right.
So,
Yeah,
on to the next chapter, I think. We had lots of events and lots of things, and suddenly no one saw it coming. We had a kind of a stress test, and it was Kill the Servers, and it was very welcome because we were kind of closing up on the closed beta, and we needed some more fuel, and suddenly it came Kill the Servers, and wow, that changed a lot. I mean, a lot got changed. We didn't see that coming. A lot of cards got changed, and actually the whole game changed because you suddenly had card draw in the game. It was really controversial as well on the forums, and yeah, kind of everything changed. What did you guys think about Kill the Service stress test?
I just wanted to jump in real quick. Sorry to go back to the audience. So we have audience picks for the premium card. Mahakman goes with Fiend, 100%. Jimmy Josh, Frightener, taking Little League's favorite card. That's mine. Gum Gum Face Punch. Mine would be something that transforms, probably like Regis, etc. That's pretty interesting. Mythic Pilot, Premium Croc on Crate. Teller Tales, I just want Premium Zoltan. I know I've seen him, but I want him. That's a personal preference. Not going to judge you. Shad Jeff, the question is, do you get... I hate that name. Sorry, man. I'm totally butchering that name. Not that I hate your name. It's great, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. So if you could, like, in chat, tell me how to pronounce it. I feel like I'm doing you a disservice. The question is, if you get premium tokens, do you get premium tokens if you own premium cards spawning it? I would assume yes, like Hearthstone. They like the cow. Premium cow seems to be the most important right now. And then we go through that. So I'm sorry. I try to jump in there, get the crowd involved here.
I like premium cow. You get 2 in 1.
So the question was, what did you guys like the stress test? What did you guys think of it in general?
It was very stressful before it began, but they were really, really good to us, weren't they? They gave us Northern Realm monsters, and then later on they listened to us and added some clear weathers in and gave us Skellige and Squirtle. So they were really good to us there.
For myself, unfortunately I never got to play, but I watched all Blacktooth videos and all the footage online, and looked very impressive, and that's when I jumped into The Witcher and went and completed high stakes and got involved in Gwent, kill the servers.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me to the game, but other than that, not much I can say.
McBeard, what did you think of it?
Sultry.
Oh, it was great. It was a great taste of Gwent. I managed to make it in up for the Tuesday test. I played a good number of hours when we had the 4 decks to choose from. I had to play a little bit of each, and good kind of feel, like, because we had never, I mean, unless you had played a con build, there was really nothing quite like that. Like, that first moment, and it was actually just before it was 2 o'clock start time for me on the Toronto over here, but you could get in just before 2 p.m. It was a little afternoon sesh. So it was like 1:58. I hit play and I got into a game. And I was like, oh, early game. And I remember it just being very exciting.
Yeah, actually, the first stress test for me was kind of disappointing. I kind of got bored of it after like 2 hours, really playing fast, and I mean, I wanted to get as much games out of it as possible. And I kind of was. I quit in after a few hours, and I was like, this is not what I want. And also, the card change was really controversial, and I made a big post on the forums with a little bit of hate, but still kind of forgiving. It was more criticism than hate. But I was kind of disappointed as well by the first one. And then the second one hit, and it was a lot better. Still, I felt kind of disappointed with some changes, but now with actually what happened between cards, and they actually the closed beta cards, we all know them now. And suddenly I saw the vision again of Gwent, where they were going, and I was completely fine with it again. I was completely invested into it again. But because Gamescom Gwent for me had like the vision of perfect Gwent. This was amazing. This was really good. But who am I to actually discuss with the developers who play it daily, a few hours a day? So then closed beta is actually the day after tomorrow. Almost 1 day left. Well, 1 day and 2 hours.
How dare you criticize Ruben?
Criticize me for what?
Every time, no, criticize Gwent.
Okay.
Every time I've heard your criticism, I think it's been good criticism. I think criticism is needed. It's not because people hate the game or are angry. It's because they want the game to do well. And I've had this problem in other games also. You know, people have to speak up about things, or you know, if we think something's going in the wrong direction, just speak up. Criticism is good.
I think one of the issues why Ruben probably didn't like it on the first Kill the Server stress test was probably because there were only 2 decks, and you knew exactly what the opponent had, and there was no real, skill play in terms of trying to guess what they had and guess what they don't have. It was a bit monotonous because there's only 2 decks.
Yeah, there were only 2 decks, and yeah, they were the bad decks. It can be said they were really, really bad. And one deck was superior to the other, so it was pretty obvious which one you would play. Yeah, it was kind of a little bit boring. And then the second one I played fully through. It was a really nice one as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And now 2 days closed beta. And luckily we have a nice developer here, also willing to help the poor out, which is amazing in my opinion. Shout out to Rethas. So yeah, you guys hyped? I know you guys are.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I hope I get in, or else I'll be crying. I'll be watching on Twitch either way, but hopefully I get in.
I think yesterday for me was the longest day because we have today's show that we're on right now, and we've got the developer stream on Monday, and then Tuesday we're playing. And last week was a busy week as well, but yesterday was the only day that I wasn't doing anything like focused on Gwent. So I think it's just clear sailing from here. Just got to get to sleep, wake up, watch the stream. Different on the West Coast, I guess, because
yeah, for us it's in
the East Coast of North America. It's all afternoon goodness. I don't have to wait as long. I don't have to get through the day.
Damn it.
Yeah, just on the touch on the kill the servers, Ruben and I talked about it in one of the shows. I was actually very disappointed with the draw mechanics at first. I like the old hardcore resource management of the Silver Age Gwent. Now that I see where it's going, I feel kind of ashamed that I took that hard stance, but also Lily's right. You want to voice your concerns, otherwise they remain voiceless and then nothing ever changes. So it's good to have a little bit of discord. Shameless plug. So I think that we're gonna do good. I think that the 2 days away, and like the sultry voice of McBeard CH said, that we have today's show, and then tomorrow the big real good awesome show from the developers, and then we get into it, and hopefully we all get in, or just to support those of us that do get in would be great. And because I know I'll be disappointed. I took the week off. If I don't get in, I'll be disappointed, but I'm still gonna support King Black 2 for Commander's Horn or Clear Skies, whoever gets in, or whoever in the audience gets in. We should be really supportive of those that do make it. And I'm just very excited. And I just really thank all y'all for joining us today.
Yeah. We're all hyped.
I hope I get in too. Nothing is assured, I think, until the time it starts.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sign up with friends, and I think a lot of people have like double keys maybe. I think I will be, because I have a lot of friends, and I'll be so kind to actually give some keys away if I have doubles, and I think the Discord will help each other out if it comes to actually having keys. So I think it's just so nice here to have this community that's so active and that knows so much about the game. And that's actually also so patient with each other. There's never been this kind of fight or a real fight between members, and except between Little League and us, because his name is just so bad. We can't help it. I mean, you are searching for it, all right?
Hashtag 2526.
It is a bad name. Just point that out again.
Yeah, we can't help it. Well, so closed beta will hit. How long do you think it will take? Or do we actually have information on that? Because I don't know.
How long it'll last?
Yeah.
No clue. I'm hoping, I would guess 2 to 3 months. Obviously, that's a guess.
Well, let's just. I know that everybody. I know we were kind of tight on time for some people. So just moving on to the next one. What are we most looking forward from the closed beta? And we kind of just do a little quick summation, unless you have a huge thing you're looking forward to. We'll start with coughing, and then we'll go to Little League.
Alright, who was coughing?
Oh, my tech guy. My tech guy's over here to my left, and like, it's like, shush.
I'm looking forward to, obviously it's my first taste of Gwent, so I can't wait to get in. I miss Kill the Servers. I just want to get in there. I want to make decks at 25 cards. Anybody listening, anybody that's new, forget what all these guys are saying. Build your decks at 25 cards. But yeah, I'm looking to open up a few packs, honestly, as well. How much I'll drop, I don't know, probably £15, £20. I want some packs, and going to be crossing fingers to hit Priscilla, so that's what I'm looking forward to, hitting Priscilla in a keg.
That sounds like a Saturday night.
Taken out of context, that's a great sentence.
Yeah.
Want to hit Priscilla and grab a keg.
Even in context. I mean, it's good either way, man.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
we go to King Blacktooth.
Well, for me, closed beta opens up pretty much the wheels. It really sets everything in motion that I've got planned for Gwent. So I think I've got hunches, on some cards. I think they're going to be key and stuff like that. So I really want to just test the meta and see if I'm right in trying to predict it and trying to counter it. And so I'm going to do a bit of everything. I'm probably going to do the same thing as Little League in terms of buying card packs. Not many, because I don't want progression to be ruined for me. But I don't mind about Priscilla. Everything gets going with closed beta, and it's super exciting for me. I think I might wear myself out though. I think I plan to do too much in too short a time. That's the problem.
How many videos do you plan to do a day?
Well, that's the thing, you see. I'll be streaming. I won't have time to edit. I've got to do both now. I don't know.
Yeah, a little streaming, and then you got the footage, so you cut it, and then you're asleep, and you're back to streaming.
Too much, Gwent. Could have much worse.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we go to the sultry voice of Commander's Horn.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I need to really understand what the getting card situation is gonna be, because if I had access to every card, I think I know what I would play. I think King Brand's got a cool flavor to it, and I'd like to test it out. But I could very well just not end up with those cards. So it depends on what I can Can I craft cards? Can I acquire cards in some other way to build the deck that I want to build? And if it just ends up that I can only build what I have gotten through packs or kegs, then I think that's just gonna tell the story for me. I have a couple of ideas as to what will be strong. So I think every faction has tools to fight any specific strategy. So I'm excited to find out. I can't wait to see what's going to happen when I start getting cards and what's really kind of at my fingertips and what's at everybody else's, because we're going to be in a situation where some people are just going to have some things that other people don't have, and they're going to be playing that because that's their option.
Yeah.
This is go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I get excited about, I'm sitting with about 15 decks ready to go, but at the end of the day, we're all going to play at first what we get, whatever you're given. If I get more cards in Northern Realms, I'll play Northern Realms, vice versa.
I'm just very curious to how fair. I mean, I know CDPR is a very fair company, and they'll give much more than Blizzard does. I'm 100% certain of that, but I'm just curious to how much you actually need, or how much money you need to put into it, or how much time rather, to actually get to make a decent or a nice deck or something like that. But I guess it's my turn now to say what I'm looking forward to most, and I think community play Gwent. I mean, it might sound a little bit typical, but just having these videos, these crazy moments happening, people will highlight things that happen, and actually playing the game and not being stuck in the state of theory crafting. I mean, it's been fun, but it's been way too long for me, and I'm ready to receive the Gwent experience.
For me, awkward pressing the mic as the tech guy makes a funny comment. For me, I'm gonna be very excited, just awesomely excited. But I'm also excited not to deal with those stupid friggin' little digital tumblers that everybody at TTS knows what I'm talking about. And I'm excited to be able to play a card with muster or search. I don't have to actually search myself and have a computer thing do it for me. I know that sounds, for those that don't play TTS, you have no idea what we're talking about. But it's literally you have to. It's a pain. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to playing some of these people on the cast, #26, and showing them the power of 26. And just to be anybody in the community, I'm looking forward to seeing King Blacktooth stream, Commander's Horn, Clear Skies, Gwent After Dark, all the cool people that are here or not here, what they can do. It's a very exciting time, and I'm just super jazzed up.
I'm excited for our 60-second turn timers. Let's go for that.
I hope it's gone.
I don't even think you need 60 personally, but I'm all for it. It's okay.
Sometimes you do need much longer than that.
Mechanic-wise,
you calculate in your head and... Go ahead, Victor.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, mechanic-wise, like when it comes to like searching your deck or your graveyard to play something, there needs to be some mercy there. That's the only thing.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to go through all your options, and sometimes there can be a lot of options in Gwent, and I think you just need a little more than 60 seconds. I mean, time is kind of, it's not that difficult to do, but I mean...
See,
I mean,
So, oh yeah, go ahead, King Lective.
I was just going to say, yeah, if you're checking your graveyard and the enemy graveyard and things like that, time can really tick on pretty quickly.
I think that'll segue into our next couple of topics. I think the next one was, The next one was, so we got that. So what are a few of our favorite things before we get into a few of our not so favorite things? So what are some, we're going to go around the horn again, and we're going to talk about a sleeper card. Now, a lot of people do this when you're familiar with Hearthstone. All the podcasters will get together and they'll say, you know, this card's going to be bad, like Dr. Boom was going to be bad, ended up being game-breaking. So this is a chance for us to look stupid for your viewing pleasure. So we're going to start with hashtag 25, Little League, and see what he thinks is going to be an underutilized card so far, or underpowered, that might end up being better than we all think.
right, this is where I get stitched up. So, I just want to quickly say the actual card I think that's going to be really powerful is Kieran, but to talk through him, it takes a long time. I have to talk through my deck and Torval and very many different cards, so I'm not going to go with that guy. I'm going to go with Bokfer. I can't get his name.
Bork 3 Jackdaws?
It's
Clan Rockvar Hunter, right?
That's it. Thanks, Blacktooth. I closed it down. So this guy is immune. He's a siege unit who's immune, and he's in a weather deck, obviously. And the reason I picked this guy is he's bronze, and people, I think, are going to find out very quick how powerful a ping is in this game with so much weather. So he's a bronze unit. He's 4 strength and he's immune to weather, and it's choose 3 non-gold units on the battlefield and remove 1 strength immune to rain. So in my deck, obviously I'm playing weather. I'm playing 6 weather cards and Herald of Cribble. So for me, this guy's just amazing value, and there's going to be many times I get to lay this guy down and ping off 3 targets. So for a bronze card, I think this guy is going to do a lot of work and incredible value in a weather deck. Now, if it's not in a weather deck, that's a different story. But I'm just going to say quickly, keep an eye out on Kieran, because that's who I really think is going to be the sleeper card.
So just to clarify, he's talking about the Clan Rockvar Archer.
That's the one.
Particular ability.
Yeah.
Oh, not the Hunter. That's my bad then. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry
That's the wrong
about that.
card.
There was confusion. There was a few different choices, and I went with that guy at the end. Sorry about that.
That's fine, sir. Next is
King
the...
Lective sleeper card.
Yeah, my sleeper card. It's going to be really good. Is Dimeritium Bomb. I finally found out how to pronounce it, so that's a win for me. And then I think it's going to be a hard card to use, to be honest. It's not going to be easy, because most decks have a bit of buffering and a bit of wounding itself. But like someone else said earlier, you want to build a deck that has a lot of strong minions, and then when they get wounded, you can throw that down later. If you've got weak minions, it won't work, but it sets the strength of all non-gold units on the battlefield to its original strength, which I think is just really cool, really good. Now, weather is obviously the thing that kind of does that anyway, but I think, I'm not sure, you guys can discuss this a little bit, but if you get weathered to 1, and then you drop down a Dimeritium Bomb, do you think you'll go back to original strength until another weather is applied? Because we know if you go down to 1 and get buffed, your buff stays there.
A really good question. I think we're gonna have to see that one, but it's, I guess, like kind of an order of operations, or if it's like last in first out kind of thing.
I think it's gonna go back to the original value.
Yeah, I feel like it is as well. You can buff up people in weather. The weather doesn't reapply all the time like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Dimeritium Bomb is just going to be great in certain decks.
Just like the horn, the new horn and stuff. They changed that as well, and Dandelion, and I think it's gonna work the same way. So after you Dimeridium, after you play Weather, if you play Dimeridium Bomb after Weather, then I think it's gonna go back just to original value, because Weather is like a one applied thing now. So I think actually this card gets a lot better because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Chat seem to think so also. So that's interesting. Me being a Weather player, that's an interesting to hear that.
it'll cancel out Philippa Eilhart as well, presumably, because she sets everything to 1 without Weather, which is really strong. But this will cancel that out, presumably. And just cancels out a lot of things. But it's really hard to use it as silver, and you've got to wait quite late. Your things can't get destroyed or work very well. So
Yeah, and it's neutral also, isn't it?
yeah.
I see how it is, man. I set you up for Dimetrium. Oh, now I can't even say it. I like telling you about the card you're going to reveal, and then you mention the card I'm going to reveal and just, shit on it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Sorry.
So the next one is McBeard.
Oh, is that me?
Sleeper card.
I'm sorry. Yeah, confused. I didn't show it to you. Now next is the Sultry Commander's Horn.
Oh, hi. I'm here to talk about Aromancy, and I think the reason why I think this is a sleeper card is I think that people are going to use it, and I think that people have talked about it as a good card. I think that the silver slot is very competitive, and it may not make the cut for a lot of decks, but I think that every deck could benefit from using this card because I know that Weather is going to be strong. It's a very flexible card, and I think any deck could replace a silver in their framework with this card and probably be able to get a lot of benefit from it just because of the strength of Weather. So I think not that it's going to be a great card. I think it's going to be a very prevalent card once everything sorts out. If Weather ends up being very strong, every deck may consider running this card just so there is always a Weather option to swing the game, maybe late. Aromancy.
Yeah, I think Aromancy is like a card that's so flexible that you might actually run it in every deck, and it might still be. I mean, it's still good, definitely, but
it may not even be a sleeper. I mean, I may have just picked a card that everybody already loves, but I wasn't thinking about it immediately because I was always thinking about, okay, so we got Decoy and Scourge. I'm probably going to use those, and like a lot of silvers are quite good. So it's making that cut. Like, does it immediately kind of? And Siadgev just said in the Discord chat, Aromancy basically makes it so you have Dagon's ability in your deck all the time. So it's kind of like how if you played Last Wish, it's like it's not like King Bran. It's a card that's replicating another leader's faction ability.
but
If he's going to be good, then that card would be good as well in theory if Weather is strong.
But is it worth running or putting it as a silver slot? Because that's kind of like giving up a slot of synergy for your full deck. And I mean, we'll see if this. I mean, this card is definitely good. It's just straight out good. But is this good enough so that you sacrifice one piece of your combo? We'll have to see. I think. I don't think so. I'm not sure though. Maybe Weather is so strong that it will be, or this will be. Yeah, kind of discovering the meta, making the meta, like I said.
All right, Mr. Rubin.
Yeah, so my card was Sarah. It's maybe not a sleeper, but it was kind of a sleeper before we actually knew that Weather effects. If you play Ragnarok, then she actually becomes a 15 immediately. And I think Ragnarok is one of my favorite cards because I highlighted it as one of my favorite cards last Gwent After Dark. And I think it's just going to be... it's such a fun card to play because it changes the whole game with one card. I mean, everything gets changed. All the values, every combo that was being worked on, it just gets flipped around, and I think it's gonna be really interesting how people will play around this and what they'll do with this. And I think just like having that powerful tool for Ragnarok, then actually getting a combo off with that, it's like one small, really small but very strong combo with just 2 cards. And I think it's pretty safe to say that you'll hit it every time, or almost every time that you play this deck, or reliably. Let's say it like that.
So you know what's a good card for that? Dimeritium Bomb. But now we've got a beneficial host, keeper of the cards, who's going to tell us why Philippa Eilhart is such a good card.
Wow, I got that. That's awesome. Thank you, King Blacktooth. I appreciate that. To my surprise, that was really good. So I have Philippa Eilhart. Probably mispronounced her name with the American accent. So I really like this card. I actually used her in one of my decks, especially paired with Radovid. It's a really great combo. So there's Sarah. We're a little bit behind on the thing. That's my fault. So Philippa Eilhart, what she does is she's an 11 strength unit. She's disloyal, which means you put her on the opponent's side of the board. And what she does is, there she is, she reduces the strength of all other units to 1. So you're thinking, wow, you're giving them 11. But if you have played monster decks or theory-crafted monster decks or any kind of big pumpable decks, you realize that a row could get up to 100 points very easily with monster nest decks especially, or anything like that pump them up. Well, Philippa Eilhart comes in and she completely neutralizes an entire row. And then with all the different things you have to do 1 damage, like Stammelford's Tremors, or really anything, Manticore's Venom, if there's a bunch of combos for Monster Nests, or Lacerates, they pay a lot of little low-cost damage that just wipes out an entire row. She's very nasty, and then Radovid does 10 damage to any unit, which would then neutralize her. So you would have a combo play where you could wipe their board down, wipe out her value, it wouldn't be bad, or use Dijkstra to take her off of a gold. There's a lot of different pairing combos you have with Northern Realms. Now, she's not, super powerful because she's only in Northern Realms, but in a Northern Realms, if you're going to go control, she is so good in a Northern Realms deck for control. So she's situational, of course, but I think she's very strong. But she does have a hard counter, many hard counters, but one, Dimetrium Bomb.
I got a question for you, Shifu, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
It says she sets the strength of all units. That includes golds, right?
Yes, that's a good call out.
Holy
she
shit,
does, yeah. She does knock down. That's a good call out. She does knock down everything, including like Geralt, for example.
And Dimetrium Bomb will not bring Geralt back to normal because it only does non-golds.
Well, see, now there we go. That's a little. See, that's why you're King Blacktooth, because you know these things. That's a good call.
There's another great card that she goes with, unless I'm making a mistake, is Yennefer Neutral.
I'm actually looking that up right now.
Right, well, I'm going to put myself out there then and say Yennefer's neutral, and she affects gold cards also, so you can actually clear a lane even with gold cards.
Yeah, -2, you mean with the Chironex?
That's it, so she can actually, with Philippa, wipe any lane.
Now, that's a great call out. Now, do we know if Field Marshal Duda changed too? Because I know that he used to have a -2, +2 buff, kind of like Yennefer had. Is that still the same? Do we know?
Yeah, it's still the same, but it's only affects non-golds.
Okay. Still pretty powerful with paired with Yennefer. That's a pretty nice -4 debuff to an entire row.
Yennefer does the entire board, do you know that?
Oh, okay, Yennefer, oh, that's even better.
Even on your side.
That's not, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yennefer seems to be in like another league of power. Like she's 9. Like on top of all the stuff that she does, she's 9. She's really strong. Like when you're looking at like an average value of even gold cards, seems really high.
But she's so situational. That's the thing. It's like,
I mean, she's situational, but like even if you hit 1 or 2 cards, she's still 9, and she still gave
Yeah, but
+4.
you're weakening yourself if you choose the Chironex, or you're buffing the opponent if you choose the Unicorn is the issue.
so,
Buffs +2 to the entire board, or -2 to the entire board as well.
You know what? I think I just realized what I got wrong about.
what?
Never mind.
Well, I mean, the thing's really, the game is so ever changing. I mean, it's changing constantly, and it's going to change in the beta. It's going to change full release. That one good thing about theory crafting was a lot of fun. Made a lot of decks. Most of the decks I made, 80% of them were completely illegal now after Kill the Servers came out, and it's just going to keep on changing. They change them constantly for the better. Really, all the changes they've made, unless y'all can think of one. Well, I guess we're getting to that next, but that really ruined it. I think they made great changes so far.
I think it's good that there's that they're willing to be so flexible, because another game, Hearthstone, they're actually not, or they almost refuse to change card on a regular basis. They really wait a long time before they change an actual card. When it's even really blatantly OP, and I think Gwent will have a really, I mean, even when it was in beta, by the way, not when it's released now. But I think Gwent has a far better time with this, and they're changing the whole game. They're changing mechanics. They're removing mechanics, and I think this is a really good thing. They're changing like the whole game, and this actually shows us that they're willing to be so flexible, and that they see that it's not perfect, and that's a really good thing in my opinion, because that shows their mentality, and they know that they're not perfect, and yeah, that's just a really good thing.
Alice, yeah, you're better to change the card than be stubborn and keep it in there. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if the developers got it wrong. They got it wrong. Change the card, then we move on. Everybody's happy. Whereas you get some developers might be a little bit stuck up, and then you're stuck with a card damaging the meta for 5, 6, 7 months and causing people to leave the game.
Exactly.
So far, what I've seen from CD Projekt Red, they're on the nerfs and the problem cards quite quick. So, and they're in contact with the community a lot. So, if they keep that up, it's going to be a great game.
I haven't.
With the iterate,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say with the iterations that we've seen kill the servers 1, and then immediately to kill servers 2, and then to the card reveal, we've seen like lots of stuff change rapidly. I think that's probably part of the development process, but I would like to think that when they see the data and they get to see like all the games being played at once, they would be they wouldn't sit on a change if it was really bad too long.
Well, they did already change. If
I
people aren't
fell away, and
aware,
I thought you were done.
getting a deck ability. In a recent turn of events, it didn't affect things that are in the graveyard, but they've already undone that now. So Skellige deck ability, which buffs original strength now, affects things in your hand, deck, and graveyard.
Great perk. So good now.
All right, so now let's go to y'all are doing great, and I know I missed a lot of the chat right there because of the audience participation because I was in that slideshow. So I apologize for that. Y'all made a lot of great comments. A lot of people piggybacking off what was said, but in the interest of time, I can't go back to it, so I apologize. So we're gonna finish up with what are a few of the things that are not so much of our favorite things that we are worried about, or concerns we may have on the current state, and we'll start, of course, with Little League.
Alright, so I do have worries, but more positives than negatives. My main worry is weather, because I don't want to end up in a full-on control meta. Obviously, that's not good for any game. You don't want to cut out other archetypes or leave out one archetype, which is hard to find the balance. But what I worry about is that because Gwent's a 1 card per turn, to me it favours reactive slow decks. It favours control decks. So what I'm worried about is that, you know, weather takes over, and then everybody's just putting weather in their decks, and it's just, you know, wait a turn, try to remove his weather, wait a turn, try to remove, that it becomes this reactive meta, but so reactive that control just takes over. And it's like no one's making a move sort of thing, do you know what I mean? Like you're both looking at the board and you don't want to make a move, he don't want to make a move, you don't want to make, and it becomes really slow and control heavy. So that's one of the things that I worry about. Also with
Go ahead.
Also, quickly with like cards like Priscilla, I hope they don't like nerf cards to the point where they like kill cards. I worry about that also, because Priscilla does need a nerf. There's a very simple, effective, easy way to fix her, but I hope they don't do with like they done with Operator and kill the card, because I am against RNG, but you need RNG in the game to make it healthy and exciting. So I hope they don't axe cards.
About the control thing, how do you actually are there actually other archetypes right now that are not control? I mean, you have like every kind of deck is a part of control, right? In Gwent, is it?
Yeah. That's what that's what I'm saying. Like every deck can run control elements, so I'm just worried that it becomes all a control meta, and then other archetypes like Swarm. These sort of archetypes are getting left behind and not even played at all, because why would you play a Swarm deck when you get wrecked by Mana Core, you get wrecked by Weather, you get wrecked, you know. I'm just worried that control will leave behind other archetypes, which I don't think think's good for the game. I want to see all archetypes played. But that's one of my worries.
A great comment on we got some great comments on this. This is a good topic. Jimmy Josh, aggro to me in this game would be like decks trying to win in 2 rounds or take rounds quickly, like some of those monster decks, and I think he's referring to the monster nest decks and foglet combo decks. Teller of Tales, I don't think that work easily. I even had the Although I suppose swarm decks are the most similar to aggro in a way. Both don't seem like they take a lot of skill. I don't know. The nest decks take a little bit. That said, swarm decks look like fun. Gum Face Punch, so the name Swarm will definitely be played. I think it'd be hard to find a brain dead deck in Gwent. I totally agree with Jimmy Josh on that one. All these decks take some.
Blacktooth.
Yeah. Okay,
What
so
do
I'd
you-
like to say Little League's information about control being worrying. I thought that was really interesting and good, so props to him for that. I've got a worry, yes, sure. It's a worry which could be unfounded later on, but in the current state for now, I'm worried about face down cards. There doesn't seem to be any way to deal with them whatsoever, apart from trying to avoid them. And some of them you can't avoid because they can play into their own face down cards. And it just seems like I really expect it can be, who like removes all non-golds, and I don't know if it still removes weather now. I'm not sure. It used to. It doesn't even remove face down cards. It's like you just can't get rid of them. They're absolutely invincible. And there was a face down card we saw a preview of called Scorch Trap, which is no longer in the game. It's been renamed, but it is Scoia'tael only again. And that, like, as far as I'm aware, scorches a unit before as it's coming onto the board. So you can like get rid of an ability like Medic. They don't get to play it because Scorch Trap will remove them before the ability gets played. And since it's all just Scoia'tael only, it's like no other deck can deal with face down cards in any way, and it's just, I feel like it's just, at the minute, obviously later on we could get cards which could deal with it or are ways to deal with it, but it just worries me that you can't deal with face down cards apart from avoiding them, which some decks don't have the flexibility of Agile and stuff like that to deal with that, or you have to go into them a lot of the times.
I actually agree, but I have actually another worry about the cards, which I'll talk about when it's my turn. So, McBeard, go ahead.
Controversial opinion. I'm not worried about anything actually, because I think worrying about stuff is kind of.
Well,
I mean, we can predict what might be bad for the game, and that's totally fair based on the information that we have. But I don't want to believe that any really big wrinkles wouldn't be ironed out. So I'm not worried that anything's going to run out of control and that's how it's going to go into launch. Because I mean, the overarching worry is that the game isn't good for whatever reason. It's not good. I want it to be very good. So it's more like I'm wishing. I mean, worrying is kind of like reverse wishing. So I am just hoping that developers can iron out any wrinkles that prove to be threatening for the gameplay and for the meta, and a very healthy game where there's lots of different options and choices and lots of different ways to win. If it ever gets narrowed down too much, I guess that I would say that would be a worry. But it's really a long-term worry. I think in the short term, the things will be dealt with. Things are out of control.
That's a really good point, in my opinion.
Yeah, well said.
Bad though. Developers will have data, and that'll help them a lot. I mean, a ton even, if they see actually what people play, what people do, and they don't have just the data from their own or just from the developers themselves, because they sometimes maybe feel forced to play something because they just want to test it, and that's not the way people play. I think when people have the data, or when the developers rather have the data, that they'll be able to fix a lot of the problems, like you say, and it'll be a long-term problem more that the developers will be able to wrinkle out, like you said again. And for the most, we're talking about like game-breaking stuff. That's what I think you're talking about, at least. That there's no game-breaking stuff. That the game will still be fun to play. Every will be fine, but there might be still problems with there. But that devs will change this or make this good. Do I have that right? Right, McBeard?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of a messy talk there. So I think you're talking about the long-term problems here, that nothing will be game-breaking, and with data from the people, when the developers get the data, they will actually have, they will actually fix game-breaking stuff, or like blatantly OP or game-breaking stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has to be blatantly OP. I think that anything that reduces the amount of options for competitive play is the, just to answer the question, I guess that worries me. But I think that's a really long-term worry. I think that the blatantly stuff will be definitely caught. But long-term, I would just want to make sure that the players have the options that they want to have, or I should say that the options that they need or desire for flexibility and variety. I don't want to be stuck having to play something because it's the best.
Yeah,
That's where my worry comes in.
Yeah, I think that they're going to do a good job. I mean, they're obviously way on top of things, and I mean, this is just a segment where we just kind of worry like little warriors.
Yeah,
Warriors.
I'm not. When I say worry, I'm not sitting here worried. I'm actually excited. Can't wait to play the game. When I say worried, I'm just scared that other archetypes are getting left behind, because why would I play that when I can play this? Do you know what I mean? That sort of worry. But with the tech cards they're adding, I'm confident that they'll get the balance between tech cards to deal with, weather, because I think there's a lot of it. Do you know what I mean? It's not just one card Frost. You've got dual weathers, triple weathers. You've got a lot of weathers, but not enough ways to react to the weather. So over time, there'll be more ways to react to weather. So it will balance out eventually. I just think it might be overpower in the closed beta.
Here's a quick question from the audience, Meerkats. Quick question: thought about Odim's shadows? They've been changed recently.
So I heard they've got an ability now. Is that right?
Yeah, they do damage. They wound, if I recall correctly. Each one, he summons 3, and they all wound. I think that's right.
But we know that for sure.
I don't know.
That's what I heard also.
Yeah, Mir, if you want to put what the new abilities are, I'd appreciate it. But while we do that, if Ruben, do you have not a worry because the Sunshine and Rainbow is out right now? But do we have any thoughts it could turn bad?
Yeah, actually, I have a big worry that I'm not going to get into the Gwent.
Yeah, that's the only real worry.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I think we'll get into most of us, and some people will help each other out. And the big worry for me is more traps. I hope traps are a great concept. I loved it when they announced it, but I hope that they don't become the secrets from Hearthstone. That every trap has enough potential to be played, not only the good ones, so that every game when a trap gets played by a fraction, that we actually know which trap it is. That it's like we expect which one it is, because there's only 2 good ones, for example. That's my main worry, that if the traps don't become good enough and there's only a few good, then we will expect the traps, and that's not how traps actually are supposed to be played, in my opinion. They're supposed to be a secret or a surprise.
Very good. So it looks like that they do summon 3 minions summon random damage, 1 strength, 1 damage each.
So that's
random target. Surely, random damage doesn't make any sense. 100 damage. What's the
1 million damage. Yeah, to continue the point of
it's
traps.
worth about 11, is it? Which is pretty good. I like it. Could work with a swarm deck pretty nicely. Picking back up, putting back down, more wounding and stuff. I don't know.
So Rethas actually said random damage.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Ruben, did you finish? I apologize. Would you? Meerkats responded. Ruben, traps are best played towards the end of the round, followed by an initiator like Yavin or Karen.
Yeah, I kind of agree. But they could also be played aggressively in the beginning of the round. I think they have a lot of potential then as well. I mean, they could really surprise your opponent then.
yeah. Go ahead, Blacksmith.
That's my worry, basically. You play this face down, there's no way to get around it after you've already committed some cards. They're just going to play Kieran or Yavin into it. So what can you do? Promote, I guess, maybe, if you're that particular thing. So there's no way to protect against it once you've got some non-golds on the board and they play this card, which is probably going to be the -5 to that particular row.
There's not a single card in Gwent that doesn't have a counter. So I'm sure they'll add something to deal with that. I'm pretty sure, because for every card there's a counter. That's like one of the mottos for me when it comes to Gwent. How I see Gwent actually. That's one of the good things. So I think they might. Right now there isn't, but I think in the future we'll probably see a fix for this, because that's actually a really good point. Now I see your vision, King Black Duke.
Yeah, so I'm confident they'll fix it, but that's just a worry for closed beta and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah, where I feel the traps, I've made a trapper deck, and the problem with traps is if you're playing War Dancer, and let's say I War Dancer turn 1, and then I throw down Edith turn 2, War Dancer goes to 6, the guy's not too worried about that, he plays his straight, I throw a trapper on his side, now War Dancer's 10, Edith's blocking out any removal, then he's got to worried about his own board. So what I worried about trappers is it'll force passes, but passes that are too easy to get out of your opponent. So like putting a trapper down and putting him in such a sticky position where he passes. So I think if they force too easy a pass, then that could be problematic also. Because it looks like the only way playing rounds on traps will be passing.
And it's a good point actually. Passing is one of the counters, but still it's a bad counter because it forces you out of your options.
So next it's Shifu of the cards again, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm finishing up this topic, then we're gonna wrap it up. I'm just gonna end it with Sunshine and Rainbows from the sultry voice of Commander's Horn, and piggyback off that. I think I really don't have any everything y'all talked about. Honestly, I think it'll be addressed, and I think that it's good concerns, and it was really well said. And I want to go ahead and close it down for the day. But what I want to do is I'm gonna give every one of y'all that joined today a shameless plug, and then y'all can go around and say what your own closing thoughts might be. I know it'll be excitement. So I'm gonna start off with I want to thank and first of all Little League and Cass. Cass had some. Looks like he was in and out. That's what she said. But their show is Clear Skies. It's a card. It's a really good podcast. They have a show on YouTube. Go search up Clear Skies. You heard Little League. He's exceptionally intelligent, and he has besides his flaws of #25, other than that, and horrible name, the show is really good. His content's really good, and I've enjoyed his comments. Followed by, you may have heard of him, King Blacktooth. I don't know if you have or haven't. He is a really good streamer. He's going to be on Twitch, on YouTube. He is truly, the best we have going right now and for the foreseeable future. King Blacktooth, if you want to follow his videos. Commander's Horn, the sultry voice you've heard throughout here, and Grey Boxer. Grey Boxer wasn't able to attend, but he's there in spirit. They are fantastic. The podcast has always been top-notch. Great production value, great intelligence throughout. Some people that wasn't here I wanted to shout out. Also, A Round of Gwent has a really great column. You want to check out his site as well. But he's also really good. And there's some other ones. There's a ton of great creators, but I wanted to specify the ones here. And I want to thank Ruben, as always, makes the show better through his organization, his talent, his intelligence. And then what I'll do is throw it up to Little League's closing comments, and we'll end this show on a positive note. And then for me, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching.
Hold on. Shifu of the card also does videos on YouTube, builds many a decks. So Shifu of the card needs a shout out as well. He's too modest, and he's a very nice guy too.
I appreciate that.
Yep, I like Shifu also. We're going to have some amazing fun times building decks, but they will not be at 30 plus cards. Not much said about me, guys. If you want to follow Twitch or Twitter, you can. I'll be streaming Gwent once I get in. If I get in, hopefully I get in. If I don't get in, I'll be watching, whether it's Shifu, whether it's Commander Horn, King Blacktooth, Cass, whoever's on. You will see me on Twitch a lot, and I will support smaller guys, smaller streams, which is actually, just to let you all know, Little League is about little in the sense of the little guy. I'm there for the little guy, us little guys. So my content's going to be new player friendly. It's going to be for the little guy. So it's nothing to do with baseball.
Accent is correct.
Okay, so thanks for watching me and stuff. I'm not really good at doing all this, but I'd like to thank everyone that within the Discord. I mean, it's been an excellent time, and I hope it keeps going even after closed beta and the game releases. That everyone's still in the Discord, having a lot of fun, and we get to know each other quite well. So that's really good. And my content, King Blacktooth stuff, is generally just for royalty. My Little League is just for the little guy. Mine is just for the royalty. Okay, so any kings or queens out there can watch my stuff.
McBeard, you want to say
The
anything
sultry
else?
commander. That was awesome, by the way. Is this sultry commander's horn?
Hello, sunshine and rainbows all day. Thanks for the very kind words, Shifu, and thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, I do Commander's Horn, and that is a weekly podcast coming to you on Thursdays. Thanks so much for everybody who has listened and subscribed and commented. Everything, really. The support is great. Everybody in the Discord. I don't know where I'd be without the Discord. Thanks to Mythic Pilot for inviting me to the channel. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the beta. I'm looking forward to streaming and posting some content as well once I actually have some footage, because we're going to be playing. And really excited to talk about it this week on the podcast. So thanks again for having me.
Yeah, so I quickly want to say something. I have a YouTube channel as well, but I'm gonna just post some stupid stuff on there, just some generally funny videos, and not on a regular basis, but you'll probably see it on Reddit a lot, or Discord, most likely, or definitely Discord. And definitely I want to thank everyone that has been here on the podcast. You guys have been amazing. You guys have been really patient, because it's not always easy doing a podcast with 5 or 6 people if Cass is counted with. So thanks for that. And I don't know what you guys seem to talk about the 2660 is the total is like the most valuable way to run your deck, right? I mean, come on, guys. Let's be honest here. Thanks to Discord. I really hope Discord stays this cozy and this small, but I'm thinking it's going to change a little bit, and there's going to be a lot more people in there, but still, let's hope it gets really good and really fun, and thanks for the good run. It has been a long run, but hell, has it been a good run? Thanks for everything, guys.
All right, that's it. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for joining us. We'll be here next week, Sunday, 2 p.m. for the first week of closed beta. A lot of good talks. Thank you again for everybody that joined us. Thank you, everybody that was part of the show. And y'all have a great day. Putting down the curtain.